like series type thing, I've never really talked about my promoter journey. I've had a couple people come on and talk about theirs, but I've never talked about mine. And I think today I've had 12 hours to reflect. 12 hours of a friend of mine losing a stillborn child, and I'm going to see mine. And that's why I said be prepared for the yellowness and be prepared for me being completely 100% transparent with you guys. Because I feel like that is so important. And this whole day, even from this morning when we got on the Zoom with Maria, then we got on a Zoom with Heather, and then we listened to Mindset, and it's one thing after the other, right? One thing after feeling like that person that got on one of these Zooms today could be the day that they're just like, fine, I'm going to get on this Zoom. But after that, I'm quitting because this is not something that's easy for anybody. So I kind of want to take you guys back to how I got started. I don't even know some of you guys. I haven't met most of you. I probably will meet you at Palooza, so I'm super excited, and I expect a hug, okay? I'm a hugger. I'm a yellow, and if you're not a hugger, please be a hugger for like 2 seconds. So I kind of want to take you guys back to how I got started, how my progression was, and even the ugly, the not so successful, like all of that, because even the ones that are interviewed by like Alicia, she tells them from the beginning, like, we want to hear all of it. Don't give us the highlights. Like, we want to hear all of it. And so I feel like I owe it to you guys to be 100% transparent about who I am, because I don't live ashamed of anything, like Rachel was saying, that I've been through, that I've done, that I deal with to this day, because it all shapes who I am. Same for you. It all shapes who you are. So I have been a customer. This month is my 1 year. But I have only been promoting for 10 months. So 10 months ago, I was a customer for like 2 months, and a couple of my friends, it was kind of like I didn't want to promote at all. Not at all. I was already with another company, had been for 2 years, wasn't successful. With that previous company, and I don't know if you guys feel this way or you're with another company, drop it in the chat. I would get super fired up and I would be running after and, sale. And then I'd fall off for like 3 weeks because I didn't have that consistent fire. I got burnt out. I couldn't recruit people. I couldn't stay consistent because that's not where I belong. It's not where I found my purpose. And even looking back, I felt like a complete failure because you start this business. When I first started that one, it was to help me stay home with my preemie baby. And it failed. And I felt like a failure. But it wasn't just the business. It was myself. It was me. That team didn't do stuff like this. That team didn't do Mindset. That team didn't have upline that's like 15 levels up reach out to me going, hey, I'd love to get on a one-on-one call with you. That team didn't make me find who is Haley. So when I started this out, I was like, I'm going to fail. This is not going to, I've already done this. It's not going to work. So I started out, and it was kind of like a bribe because a good friend of mine was like, I just want you to be a promoter. Like, I'm trying to grow my team. Like, cool, whatever. So I get on the team and I don't do anything the first week. Nothing. And then the second week, she tells me about VIP 800, VIP 1600. And I'm like, my husband's working away from us, and I don't know, maybe in a week I can do this. So I ended up hitting VIP 800. And we just talked about waiting room. And it wasn't a waiting room for me. It was more of, she bought like the girl, whatever, bought a $200 box. And that was something that my friend did me as a favor that I didn't deserve. I didn't deserve that because I had went a whole week going, meh. But my friend said, you know what? I know that you need this $400. So she did that for me. So I hit VIP 800. The first month I was like, I'm sharing my story, whatever. It wasn't like a business plan for me. The second month, my husband got called into now granted, we live in Louisiana. My family lives in Virginia. His family lives in Oklahoma, where I'm at right now. We're by ourselves, have been by ourselves for 5+ years. He gets a call into the office for his job going, you're going to be laid off in a couple months. Like, we have nowhere for you to go. So cling, ding, ding, ding. Like, I've either got to go back to work or I have to make this work. You know what I mean? Like, that's my choices right now. So second month rolls around. I hit 4K on my account, 4K on Josh's account. Like, literally the last day of the month, he was 4,001. That was my goal, was both of us 4K. So we hit double 4K household. Third month rolls around. We get hit with Hurricane Laura. I live in Southern Louisiana. Laura made us run for the hills. Literally, we drove, me and my husband, my kids, and 13 animals and everything we could get packed up with 2 motorcycles on a trailer, 12 hours from Louisiana to Oklahoma. When we got to Oklahoma, Laura was ravaging our house. The whole time I have friends that stayed. We wake up the next morning, all we see is destruction. I'm freaking out. I'm not even thinking about the business right now. I look down at my tracker and we are $1,600 away from 12K. Missed it because I wasn't thinking about the business. We raised $1,300 in one day to go buy gas, food, all of that in Oklahoma and drive it back down to Louisiana so that we can bring resources, because Laura completely tore that place apart. There was no food. There was no water. So we were out of power for 3 weeks. My husband, we live in Louisiana. Josh was working in Houston, 3.5-hour drive. So my kids stayed in Oklahoma. We didn't see our children for a whole month. The whole time I'm telling myself, I can't give up. Now, during this time, my upline quit. During this time, my upline bounced. I didn't know really who Alicia was. I kind of knew who Courtney was. We had talked and stuff, but we weren't like we are now. You know what I could have easily said, you know what, she quit, I'm done. But I didn't. You want to know why? Because I can see something here. Completely see something. So we were out of power for 3 weeks. I still worked my business every part that I could. We were sleeping on the floor, y'all. It was 13 of us in one room on the floor because they're the only people that had power. And I was still working my business because I deserved it. My family deserves it. And it's to a point where when you know your why, that is what's going to keep driving you. I got talked about, picked on, that people don't have power and you're out here still working a business. Yep, I sure am. Because when this hurricane is over, I'm going to have to figure out a home to go to. So during this time, the hurricane hit. A week later, Josh lost his job. We applied for food stamps, got denied. Applied for unemployment, got denied. Lavelle got us through 4 months of no income. There were times that I had to barely make ends meet. Call my mom saying, we have a negative bank account and my kids are hungry. And I didn't quit. There were times where I wanted to. There was a lot of times I wanted to. The following month, you know, and then we got hit with Delta. The following month, I hit 12K. Less than 24 hours later, I was in this car that I'm sitting in right now. We went and traded in a Ford Focus, and I bought a BMW X3. You know what that took? A lot of belief in myself. Because guess what? When I hit 12K, I had no team. I had like one working promoter. When I say 12K, and I was probably doing 1,100 of that, at least 10,000 of it. So don't put limits on, I can't hit 12K without a team. Because I'm here to tell you that you absolutely can. Your story is so powerful. And then those moments that you feel like you have to give up, that you can't do this, that you have all the odds against you, that's exactly when you put on your shoes, you look up at the sky and you go, you know what? You had me, now I got me. Because we came out of that hurricane with no damage to our home, no major damage, and all of my family was safe. I could have easily said, you know what? The freaking hurricane came. We got no power. I'm sleeping on the floor. This sucks. It's 100 degrees outside. The mosquitoes are big enough to carry me away. And they were. If you were there, you know. But I didn't, because I knew that this was something. I felt it in my gut. And if you're on the Zoom, you feel it in your gut. There's something. So I hit 12K, went and bought the car. Now, this is where it kind of like really gets frustrating, because I've been wanting to level up on Josh's account. Josh's a 4K, has been a 4K since like the second month. I've re-ranked 12K, but there have been months that it was like 12,004, like literally barely making it. But do you know what? I had to make it happen because my car had to be paid for, because my husband cannot afford it. We cannot afford it if Lavelle does not pick up the tab. There were days where I knew I could do more and I didn't. And I beat myself up about it. But you know what? It's done and over with, and I can control what I'm doing right now. This morning when I got in this car, I really thought, you know what? I'm going to get there late. I want to see my babies. You know what? I am 2 minutes down the road from my mother-in-law's house. But I knew I needed to show up, not only for me, but I wanted to share this with y'all, because I can tell you it's not getting a whole lot easier. So I hit 12K, kept re-ranking. The past 2 months, we've been well above 12K, a few thousand above 12K. Do you know what that is? It's growth. It's not 40K growth, but I still have a very small team. We have like 3 or 4 promoters. Very, very small, but it's growth. And I'm watching them grow, and I'm watching them get out of their comfort zone. And it is the best feeling. And that's not on me. That's on them realizing, like, I can do this. This is my potential. So yeah, exactly. Organic growth. So I don't know if you guys knew that I'm a 12K. I don't talk about my story a whole lot because I forget. You know what I mean? Like I want to hear other people's, and I want you guys to be inspired by other people's. Do you know why I'm still pushing? Because things are getting harder and harder and harder for my family right now. My husband got a job after 4 months, and now they're taking 40% of his paycheck. He wasn't making much to begin with. Now we were hit with $1,600 extra bill this month. I could have quit. I could quit right now. But where will that put me next month? Where will that put me in 2 years when I look back and I go, man, where could I have been in 2 years? I might only be a 40K in 2 years, but what? And only a 40K. But if I quit, I'll never know. I will never know. Same for you. If you decided to throw in the towel right now, you will never know. You could meet your unicorn tomorrow. I could meet my unicorn on this trip right now. You know, there's a lot of everything that you've done in your life that leads up to where you are now. It really does. Every single thing you have, and I don't know what you believe in. I 100% believe that I have a master plan. 100%. We've been talking a lot about purpose lately. And let me tell you, if I didn't feel really strong in my purpose right now, I would have gave up. But do you know who made me see that purpose? A lot of you guys. Courtney, a lot of you guys on my hard days. I've had hard days, and Toby has messaged me. And he's like, man, I really look up to you. Like, you really are. You don't give up. And I find that sometimes I have let myself down so much in the past that I can't anymore. I can't keep letting me down. And same for you. You can't let yourself down. If you know you have more in the tank, then you press the gas and you run it till it's empty. If you know you have more in the tank, then you use it. Don't take average. Don't choose average, because every single person on this Zoom is well above that. Because if you were average, you'd be like, I'm cool with clocking in and clocking out and stocking shelves all day. I don't need a purpose. I don't need something that's going to light my fire every day. I don't need to be surrounded by people that are going to completely change my world. I'm okay being by myself. And that used to be me. I used to try to talk myself into saying, I'm okay being by myself. I don't need to have a purpose. I don't need to have a career. I graduated college when I was 19 years old and then found out I was pregnant. You know how many family members disowned me because I was supposed to be the smart doctor? You know how many people still talk down on me because my career is in network marketing? My own, very, very, I'm not going to say names because I don't know who's on the Zoom, but very, very close family. When I went home for Christmas, told me, I give you a year and you'll give it up. I don't know about y'all, but you know what I heard when it went in this year, but you know what I really heard? Bet. In a year, I'll show you. That is other people mistaking your fire, and they are taking it to heart because they are insecure. They can't show up the way you do. They can't get the followers that you do. They can't go to the gym and have the determination like you do. They can't inspire people like you, so they have to throw rocks and throw stones. That's exactly what that is. If someone is so used, because the person that came out of their mouth, the person that wants to say things like that, they've been the top dog for so long. They've been the big dog. They've always felt intimidated by me because I'm different, and I'm 100% okay with that. You want to know something else? This person raised me. This person I'm talking about raised me. So when you have someone that tells you stuff like that, you know what? You let it light the fire. You use it as gasoline, kerosene. I don't care what you use it for. You use it to light your fire, and you say, you know what? I'm okay with you not believing in me, because when I believe in me, that's when magic happens. Because you believing in me is an outside source. That has nothing to do with what is in my heart. Nothing. Nothing. And when you wake up every single day and the things you think about and the fire that you light can bring you to tears, when it makes you sweat, do you see how red I am? Tell me you're pale without telling me you're pale. This. Okay? when it can make you literally look like you're sunburned because you are so passionate about it, that is when you know you've hit gold. And I say that because the previous company I was with was not my place, and that was okay. That's okay. My upline quit, and that's okay. I don't have like that close bond with my direct upline, you know, the person that I trusted. I don't have that. But you know what? When when all that happened, guess who stepped in and took my hand because I was still running? Alicia. So when people say, who's your upline? You're going to hear Alicia every single time. And Courtney, because absolutely every single person on this team should be so thankful for both of them. Just because you don't have an upline. If you go through hurricanes, we were in a freaking pandemic too. You live away from family and don't know anybody. You're scared to go live. All of these things don't determine where you're going to be. Am I where I want to be? Absolutely not. Am I kind of upset that rank advancement is like this month? And I'm like, okay, like this is it. Like if this is the last month. Absolutely. Am I going to completely hate myself because if rank advancement doesn't happen? No, because guess what? We're already almost at 12K and it's the 19th of the month. Do you know why? Because I kept going. The months that we barely made it, I kept going. That's all you can do. That is literally all you can do, the things you can control. I learned that a little late in the game. I was already at 12K and then I learned I can do, you know, the things I can control. I wanted to get on here tonight to tell you guys 100% transparency that my journey hasn't been easy, and it's not easy right now. This trip that I'm on, we can't even afford it. When I get to my mother-in-law's house, I'm going to see my kids. I'm going to try to get them down. And then I have a whole day's worth of work to catch up on because I haven't been able to work much in the 12 hours I've been in the car. I'm going to get up an hour early tomorrow morning just to get some work in before my kids get up because we have another 12-hour day. There is so much time and effort that this takes. And if anyone tells you any different, they're lying to you. They are 100% lying to you if they say all you have to do is post on social media twice a day and you will have success here. It doesn't happen that way. And I'm sorry that if that was under the impression that you were under, but it doesn't. It is going to be ugly. It is going to take, when you have to start plucking away at yourself. Let me tell you something, and I'm going to tell you this because I'm not going to hold you on here forever. But I'm being 100% transparent. I'm going to tell you because I'm not going to hide behind it. I'm very open about it on social media. Christmas time, I got diagnosed bipolar depression with mania. 100% bipolar with mania. Oh, when a doctor looks at you and says that you've known things were wrong for a long time, and then you get 100% diagnosed with it, I took a hit. And if you were around for that, I'm sorry, because I took a hit. My family took a hit. My business took a hit. And it was hard. And it's still hard. But it's okay. Because there are days that I have to sit myself down and I have to self-develop myself because I'm unmedicated. I have to sit down and there are days where I have to walk out of the room with my kids. But you know what? I'm not yelling at them. because I've been there, done that. And I'm telling you right now, I am such an open person about mental illness because I don't understand the stigma behind it. If you have a physical illness, you go to the doctor, you're diagnosed, oh, you have the flu. Okay, nobody bats an eye. You go and get a mental diagnosis, and people look at you differently. It's just the society we live in. But I'm telling you right now that if there's something going on, don't hide behind it. Because it could be that person that is watching you that might be dealing with some of the same things you are, but they're scared to talk about it. You be the strong one. You be the one that's okay and make it normalized. How many people struggle daily mentally, but they're scared to talk about it because either one, people are going to talk about them instead of helping them. Or two, it gets to a point that they don't feel like they have another way out. I had a good friend last week take his own life, and I had no idea. 23 years old, and he felt like he didn't have a choice. So I'm telling you right now, no one on this team is perfect. The people that you look up to, the people that lead, they don't have it easy, I promise. And if they do right now, it took work. It took a lot of sacrifice. They didn't start out successful. They might have seen success and then fell off. They may have never seen success before. I want you guys to know that it's okay to not always have the highlights. It's okay, and it's okay to not hide behind mental illness. If you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you have whatever, if you're bipolar, why do you feel that you have to hide behind it? Because I can 100% tell you that every person on this team will be here for you. You are valued. You are loved. Every person is cheering for you. And there is not one thing that is, we are going to be like, oh no, other than you quitting. Because most of us will hold you accountable. And if I see somebody left the chat, I'm messaging you. What you mean you left the chat? What is going on? I just feel like this past week has been so inspirational and so motivational. And, you know, even in not just Zooms, just the chat in general, and talking about how everyone is valued. Everybody's story is important. Everybody's purpose and obviously we know all of our purpose is not thrive. Like, yes, we use that as we love being here. And a lot of people, if you can't say you're growing here mentally, emotionally, whatever, why? How? Because these Zooms are everything. Like mindset, I'm sitting here driving going, okay, Rachel, okay. I couldn't even see her, but I'm sitting over here like, okay, because I needed it. Today, when Mari was talking, I needed it. When Heather was talking, I needed it. So the things that you keep skipping out on, you need it. That's why you're skipping out on it. I knew that I needed this Zoom right here just as much for me as I did for you guys. That's why I'm doing it. Because I feel like I needed to get that out there. That I want y'all to know who I am. What I've been through. What is currently happening. And when you have to choose to give up or to go, giving up, take it off the whole roster, the whole ballot. It is white it out, Sharpie it. I don't care what you do. That's not an option. It's not an option. We are here for a purpose. We are I don't care if I have to grab somebody's hand and go across the finish line with you, sharing my water bottle. That's what we gonna do. Because we are here for each other 100%. And I can honestly say, if I had went through what I went through at Christmas time and didn't have this, I can't promise you where I'd be. This didn't happen out of mistake. The people that I've met here didn't come just because. I was meant to meet them. So going forward, reflect on things. Think of all the things that you're going through right now, and what is it teaching you? What is it teaching you? Because that's exactly how I have to look at things now. Because we're scared right now, and it's okay. Because we're going to work to the very last minute, and we're going to make it happen. So I'm going to close this out because I want to go see my babies. I haven't seen them in a week, and I have to get some rest because I got to drive 12 more hours tomorrow. But I love every single one of you guys. And I hope that knowing it's okay not to be okay, and it's also okay to not feel like you have to share all the highlights. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to fall. It's okay. Because when you fall, there's going to be somebody there to pick you up. And it may not be your upline. If you have an active upline, you're lucky. Because it's not everybody's story. But that doesn't make someone else's story less than. Because you could have an active upline, but they don't do nothing. Like, they're active. They might be in the chat. They put on a show for somebody else, but you don't ever hear from them. You know what I mean? So just know who you are. Know, if you have not found your purpose, I highly recommend getting in one of those one-on-ones with Courtney, because they are so important, and she's willing to do them. They're so important. Find that purpose, find the fire, and in those moments that you feel that everything is falling apart, find some positives. Today, and I'm gonna say this, I'm closing it out because I feel like I need to say this. Today, I chose the no toll roads because I didn't want to pay it, even though it took me an hour longer. And at first, I was like, no, I'm just going to pay the tolls and be done with it. It's just the interstate. I didn't want to make this drive anyway. I started out kind of negative. And as I'm driving, it was 74 degrees. And it's taking me on these roads that are like 35 miles an hour. It's in the mountains. I have no cell service. And it hits me, like, I put my windows down, I cut the music down, and I just listen. And it was birds, and it was a beautiful day. And it hit me. You started out negative. You didn't want to go this route. Something told you to go anyway. And God knew that I needed that sight today. He knew I needed to see beauty today because I started out on a rough side today. So look around you. If you need to take a moment to step outside and put your feet in the grass, do it. If something is compelling you and pulling you, I don't know what you believe in, but I know that if a thought enters my mind, usually it's not my mind. It's not my thought that was put there. There's a reason. So just do what you're compelled to do. Do what you're pulled to do. And if it's something you can't stop thinking about, then my God, do it. Find a way to make it happen and do it. I love you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing Monday night. Go hug the ones you love. Go put your feet in some grass. Cut the music off. Sit outside. Listen to some birds. I don't care. Just be in the moment. Go enjoy your families. And let's start tomorrow with the fire and kick some butt. I love you guys so much. And thank you so, so much for hopping on. And I will talk to you guys later.